Joe sinking, back to game, advancement, statistics, advancements, back to game. Penny sinking, squeaky, 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 squeaky.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Netherblock, the show where we build a giant 64 by 64 by 64 block of nether.
And intently listen to puppies doing their thing.
Yes, some of us are sick.
Squeaky, 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 squeaky.
I'm Albert, I have pneumonia.
There's AV issues, there's...
So, everybody introduce yourself and say your ailment.
I'm Tony. I've recently recovered from pneumonia and am slowly dying.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony. I'm Joe. My dog won't pee outside. Seriously, that whole time I came back and she was just like, okay, now I'll pee in here.
Your dog has a shy bladder.
She's
odd.
so overwhelmed outside. Yeah, basically. It's the equivalent of taking someone with a shy bladder and putting him in, like, Fenway Park during the playoffs and being like, pee!
So, do they have... Is that like a trough situation?
I haven't been to Fenway in a while. They've upgraded some things. I'm sure there's some troughs, probably.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the trough stuff went out of style in the 70s. That's where you mainly saw it, like Mile High Stadium in Denver. Like,
yeah, but it's Fenway is the thing, so, like, I'm sure some of them are still...
Somebody's gonna be mad if you update anything that they've ever known about.
Yes.
It's like, burgers at IHOP! I refuse!
Oh my god. What even is that?
I guess it's burgers at IHOP. Do you have an opinion about this, Joe? Is it...
No, I don't have an opinion. It was just a weird... I've been on the fringe of it, sort of, and I'm like, okay. I'm not sure, did they change their entire logo?
Yeah, they changed it to IHOP. It's not, like, permanent, it's just sort of...
Yeah, that's the thing I'm wondering.
Getting people's attention, like, hey, could you maybe come in other than for breakfast, because we are open the whole day. We're spending all this money to be open.
Literally like, no more pancakes, we're just a burger joint now.
No.
That's not the case.
And if they tried to switch to iBurger, I'm sure Apple would sue them.
iBurger. International House of Burgers. I'm sure they're terrible.
You think?
Maybe why they aren't selling
I'm
as
sure
well.
they are completely average.
I mean, it seems like probably the sort of Hardee's burger level of burger, which is...
I don't know. It's a short order kitchen, not a specified fast food kitchen, just where I feel like they're gonna hit some problems. I mean, there's a reason they haven't been selling well, and I don't think it's because they're awesome.
I think it's because whenever you go in there, you want that sweet, sweet pancake loving.
Yeah.
If they make a pancake burger or like the McGriddle style thing where like the buns are made of burgers, get that sweet and savory meat on there.
Wait, the buns are made of...
No, the buns are made of pancake.
He said the buns are made of burger.
Yeah, that's how I have to do it. I am intensely sad that the Double Down is gone from KFC because that fit my diet so well. If I got like the breadless one, like I make them at home now where I just take 2 chicken breasts, I've put bacon and so much cheese between them, and
wasn't it breaded,
make a sandwich.
By the way, I am coming to steal your soul every time I laugh today, so...
Yes, Albert is evil.
Yes.
And just started luring children into his house with candy.
Why did I build on this side? All I'm doing is making it so it's shadier on the block.
Yes, good.
It's a total eclipse of the heart.
The fact that anybody built any ceiling on this is unconscionable. Like, why?
It was Hannah. Hannah, for the last few episodes, was literally just up there building on a roof. Like, she was absolutely trolling us. That's why she was doing it. I'm positive.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh yeah. Like while editing, I saw her like just flat out be like, "I'm gonna build a roof."
I mean, that's I can accept that if it was intentional, but no, I think IHOP, like, they're in a weird place because their main competition is Waffle House, and you can go to Waffle House anytime, like just any old time.
Well, most of the IHOPs around here are 24 hours.
Yeah, they're not 24 hours?
No, that's what I'm saying, though. I think, not that you can go, but that you, like, I do go to Waffle House for just about any meal. It's not just a breakfast thing for me, whereas IHOP, I think, is probably locked into that breakfast crowd.
Do you order breakfast at Waffle House when you go at random times?
I always order the hash browns all the way, hold the gravy.
Yeah. Look, there's
give me a packet of ranch dressing and I'll pour it on top.
There are very few things better than going to IHOP at 2 in the morning to have like a skillet and just being so drunk you can barely talk to the waitress.
Yes. I feel like that's, I guess, not a...
That is very much also a Waffle House thing, so I don't...
Yeah. Like
maybe they are there.
There's only one Waffle House in my town, and it's out by the highway, not really near any bars, so it's not exactly like the destination.
The thing is, like, this new thing made me think about IHOP. I just don't have one. I gotta drive into essentially the next town. Like, the idea of IHOP sounds fine to me, but it's not a 30-minute away type drive.
Yeah, they're not saturated, at least where I am, for certain. Like any stretch of the imagination.
Whereas there was a Waffle House on like 3 different corners, you know?
We're in the South. Waffle House is very good saturation down there.
Yes.
It's like Whataburger in Texas. Every time you like walk outside, there's a new Whataburger.
Yeah. I think IHOP... I don't know. I wonder if this is a good idea or a bad idea.
Well, we have a show for that.
We are talking about it, and I think a lot of people online are talking about it, so at least people are engaged. Oh, no! Griffin, why? Okay.
Are there more observer blocks?
Yes, there's so many more.
I still have not seen an observer block.
Oh my god, that's funny.
They don't blow up that fast, which is nice. Like, you do get some warning.
Do you? Not if you're. I mean, if you're paying attention.
You see it and you're like, oh no, this, and you can run away far enough to get out of the blast radius.
He just wired the walls where you dig with observer blocks.
Apparently, yes.
He's been studying this long enough to know Al's patterns and only where Al goes.
All over. Circling back though, I think for me it's just I think like, oh, IHOP's doing burgers, then I'm like, oh, those burgers can't. I just think they can't be good. That's all I can think about. I'm like, oh, I might go for like, pancakes sound good, but then I think of an IHOP burger and I'm just like, that no. I don't know if it's just because you never would think to order it, and they're right. They have to be like, maybe we should push things other than pancakes, guys. Or if it's just because they do them poorly.
If it's like the best burger this side of whatever.
Yeah, what if they have amazing burgers? It's just like, no one's ordering it. Well, you're called the International House of Pancakes.
I'm telling you, make it
well, we should change the name.
Buns made of pancakes. That's all you need.
And sausage links in the center?
Delicious sausage links. Where was this box that that Dan put together with all the resources? Is that at his house?
I don't know. There's an arrow to it somewhere in the nether, but I don't know how to find the things anywhere.
I've never seen this arrow.
Use some iron. He like mined over 64 diamond and all this.
Yes, apparently.
What?
Yeah,
I need the quest for the box begins.
I'm pretty sure you can just walk to his house and get it.
Sniper tower. I like sharks. That doesn't help us. Builds arena, player house arena. What's player house to arena portal? Please no explosions in this area. What?
That's just asking for explosions.
Arena.
If we ever mined enough to know how to do like anything
else.
When's the last time you killed a? When's the last time you killed a creeper, Tony?
Whenever it blew up on me last episode.
No, you didn't kill that.
I've killed a lot of creepers. I killed a lot by bow.
This way.
I'm following you.
Go up to see what fourth room supplies has for you. Tree farm, torch park mines. Go down. I want to see the torch park.
How do I get in?
Into what?
Oh, there's a button.
Yeah.
Did we ever find Noob McDad's treasure, or did we get too ADD about that?
I was debating that. Oh, you put soulstone in the walls, I think, or that might be granted.
What's a chorus flower?
I don't know. What?
He has a chorus flower.
It's like a sandpaper flower. It's a really coarse.
Yes.
And gets everywhere.
Coarse.
That's how my son talks. Everything has 2 syllables. One of them forward trucks, Daddy.
The forward trucks.
Well, yeah, hang on. What's a forward truck to begin with?
You don't know about Forward?
Oh, Ford.
The motor company?
Oh.
Ford. Who broke
I know I've told this story already about the lady who came into Walmart looking for Forward signs, and I was like, what are you talking about?
How dare you speak to me in Walmart,
We went back and forth for like a minute and a half. And I was trying to figure out what forward was, and she was like, you know, forward. I'm so sorry. Like, I really wasn't trying to mock this woman's accent. She was getting so upset.
I think the worst incident I had with that, I was working at Home Depot and was trying to enter something for delivery. And Middle Eastern guy who could barely speak English kept trying to say etch, 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 because I was trying to spell his name, and I could not pick up that was H. Just because it sounded like an etch-a-sketch. I was like, I'm sorry, I just don't know, and he pushed me out of the way, like literally shoved me, and just put a capital H on the keyboard. I was like, oh, H.
Clark!
Marklar.
I don't see any supplies.
I found you had to go up. You went down.
It says go armor, more supplies, go down. Armor, I hardly know her, go down for extra gear.
Up at the top of the stairway is where the diamonds are. I didn't take any. I just wanted to familiarize myself with where they were.
I just took the pickaxes, not the diamond ones. The iron ones.
I have some diamond of my own, so I can make, like, I don't need to take any of that right now. If
Look
I
at this, the charity
get
of
in
our
dire
people.
straits. Who played Minecraft way more than we do. Everybody who likes us is better at the games we play than we are.
Yep.
I don't, is it like the sort of like I can fix him mentality when a girl dates a guy who's not really that great?
I would say that it could be that, but it's also that you're like one of the worst people at video gaming I've ever known. So,
except I'm losing to him.
That's the thing, though. It's like, oh, he's a challenge.
Dan, what's up with there's hardly any torches here, Dan. You got to step this up. I can see gaps in the grass.
Yeah, well, if that one creeper spawns and blows up all your diamond.
Ow! I thought you died from the creeper. I thought you died from the creeper.
I was the creeper the whole time.
So I'm gonna go see, you know, sort of weather and other circumstances permitting, Rift Tracks Live tomorrow.
Ow.
It's pretty neat.
It's gonna be very exciting with my wife for our 10th anniversary.
Damn.
Yeah,
What's the 10th
decade.
anniversary supposed to be like as far as like gift?
Rift Tracks.
Extracts?
Comedic movie sound overlays. Yeah.
I offered to do my own, but she
was like, no, we know that you're technically a professional at this, but let's go to the professional.
I think I want to join AVA at some point if I can figure out how to work it into the schedule.
That would be interesting. I've thought about, there's some stuff that is not available to me as a single person. They'll, a lot of times, you'll see them come up against a segment of a movie that's just kind of quiet. You know what I mean? Like, there's not much happening. It's just sort of padding or whatever. And they'll manage to bounce off of each other conversationally. Not like literally in spontaneous conversation, but the script, they sort of make little skits happen in ways that I cannot, as a person doing it on my own, make work.
I mean, you could
really
just,
brilliant
like,
stuff.
come up with like 6 different characters and...
I do different voices. I know that's hard to believe. I'm not saying I do them well.
I've heard your shark voice.
Yeah.
It's a lot like your monster voice and your dinosaur voice.
Well, they're all like sort of big movie monsters. I want to keep those sounding similar.
I don't know. I feel like if Al wanted to, he could cultivate a good Southern woman voice.
Land sakes, child.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about like the word, like earlier, I feel like there's something there.
Oh, you can't hang out on vines? You can hang out on vines. What happened?
Can you hang out with the family?
You can't hang out on Vine anymore because it's gone.
I was surprised at the beat of that song, so I finally watched Birdemic, the Rift Tracks. I figured I was like, oh, I'll knock out the Rift Tracks. It's a good way to watch bad movies, but maybe you don't want to just sit through, you know.
And you don't want to give like the full pay-per-view commission.
It's like double working, yeah. So
some of them are pretty good on their own, though. I got to give a shout out to Robo Vampire 3.
I'm sure that
also,
was great.
I would, you know, if I could get friends to watch it, I might have definitely done that. There's a couple I want to see with people.
It's not great. What Tony said was not true. It's not great, but it does. It's like a Hong Kong production of a movie with English or American actors in it, and they don't.
Actors?
They don't. They do that thing where they say American words, but it's like they've been given a phonetic pronunciation, and the whole movie's like that. It's so amazing.
So it's like early Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh. They just learned syllables, right?
Yeah, except there were probably a lot more cognates between like his native language and that. And
well,
English,
no, they're not. So they are English. They are American people speaking English. They're just not doing it well, I guess, because of the director. It's like most.
What?
Yeah, well, I'm
You've completely
really confused now. Like I thought you were saying it was going to be like Asian actors like saying.
No, these are
like
white
English
people.
words.
Look at maybe they grew up in Hong Kong and they're just Caucasians who did not have English as their native language or something, or they're just really bad. But it's like worse than Birdemic level acting from everybody.
The acting was so bad. So bad. The whole movie.
You were saying something about this, specifically about the hanging out song.
Oh yeah, just the way I pictured it, having heard you sort of do it, riff on it, it was very, very different. I was much more hanging out. Like, they hit that out really, really pretty hard as a beat, which I was not expecting.
Oh yeah, hanging out with the family. That's the way. Is that not how they sing it for you?
It is, but when I translated it into my brain, it did not do it that way.
Okay.
It definitely had a different vibe to it, cadence.
Such a catchy song.
I also didn't picture it being just that.
Them awkwardly dancing to it, yeah.
They're just...
It's just so...
Oh, that part. I thought you were just talking about the movie itself.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, what is that? What?
It's a guy... Listen, he's a big fan of Alfred Hitchcock, okay?
Yes, you can really see that in the fact that he made a movie, which is about the only...
There's birds in it.
No, there aren't!
Okay, that's a fair point, actually. There are not birds.
CGI birds that flap like they're in an MMORPG just sitting there.
What was the deal with coat hangers? I did not see any coat hangers there.
Oh, you missed it. They're in. So when they're in the hotel room,
yeah,
they grab coat hangers as they're running out. It's a quick.
I thought the birds were like things draped over coat hangers, and then they hung like fishing wire to the.
No. The other great thing about this, they always get on movies from riff tracks when they show like a scene of driving. They're like, wait a minute, how do we know how he got there if we don't show him pulling into the parking lot slowly?
How did he get in this car? How did he get into this car?
Just to get out.
You know, I think what was your, well, that's kind of putting you on the spot what your favorite joke was, but I laughed very loudly. So for people who don't know at home, how do you explain this? You guys did it on the podcast, right? Or did you do it for something else?
No, we did Birdemic.
Reviewed it.
Yeah.
I mean, the main character meets a girl who's a supermodel, of course, and just got a Victoria's Secret contest. Like, that was just wish fulfillment, right?
Yeah.
No good reason.
That was the director, like, going Tommy Wiseau with it, like, thinking that he could just get whoever he wanted.
Well, I mean, it's LA.
Girl.
There's a lot of attractive ladies, but the fact there's some line where they're like, they're gonna call you back and see, like, make a good impression. It's just like, I guess she already made a good impression. She's on the cover of the job.
Plus, everyone's constantly like, you know, if your modeling career doesn't work out, you should have a. She just got signed to Victoria's Secret. Like, what's
as their cover model
for no good reason, and then his friend. Oh my god, it's so weird.
He always has that oversexed friend in there too. Like Julian Jack has that same character essentially.
Oh really?
Of the guy who's like always thinking about sex. James Nguyen isn't thinking about sex all the time, you guys. He's too much of a gentleman for that. He's just got his Victoria's Secret girlfriend.
Yes, who he happened to meet up with, and then he also happened to have this great deal at work where he made $1 billion stock options as a result of $1 billion buyout.
I'm laughing at jokes you haven't told yet, and that's probably not the best format.
It's fine. My favorite joke, though, so at one point on their first date that lasts for 48 hours, or God knows how long, they go to a bar and dance, and that's where the Hanging Out song is. It's a live performance of just them hanging out and dancing.
With the family.
Unless the horse. And so they have an establishing shot of the bar and shows them dancing, whatever, blah, 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 blah. At some point later, they have an establishing shot of the bar again, and it's clearly been like a day and a half or something, and one of the riff track guys, like... like pretending the guy's been in there, just stuck there singing that song for all eternity. It was really funny.
It plays so well because that scene goes on for so long.
Yes, it's really quite nice. They meet up with kids, their parents die. It's just absurd. The hippie scene, where it's just like, let's just rhapsodize about global warming in the worst possible way.
Here's the thing. You gotta, at least in Birdemic, there was a message about, like, environmentalism. His previous film, Julian Jack, is just about, like, how terrible guys who just want hot girls are. And who are all materialistic, because it's about this guy who meets this girl in, like, cyberspace, in like this
that's
VR.
What the kids call it.
But it's a virtual reality thing that's essentially identical to real life, and he meets this girl Julie in there.
I saw that Black Mirror episode.
They date exclusively. Oh, is it at Black Mirror? Well, they ripped off James Nguyen because he was there first. But It turns out like she's just an uploaded consciousness of her former self. Spoilers, I guess, for Julie and Jack. And the whole thing is just like him philosophizing about how guys who are only interested in sex are douchebags. But again, like he made this movie with this girl who's a wish fulfillment Victoria's Secret model.
So weird.
Just imagine peace, Joe. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that kept showing up. The girlfriend's is a masseuse? I don't even know what the heck. There's just no... I don't think there's one leaf block to squeaky. Decompose. I'm not doing much nether work. I'm trying to make jungle stuff, but it's not going well. Jungle does not drop a lot of saplings. That's what I have to say.
I think I just threw my pickaxe into the portal and it vanished. An accident?
Vanished. Like Dr. Samuel Beckett.
Yes.
There's something about
there it is. It went to the other
I don't know
side.
if it's having watched the riff tracks made me think about it, but I did start watching Birdemic Shock and Awe 2. And instead of maybe it wasn't Shock and Terror, it's just Birdemic 2. But the opening shot, instead of being a really long shot of people driving, it's a really long shot of Rod walking. Because that dude,
that's the natural progression,
knows how to walk. Having watched them make fun of it, of how he walks, because the guy walks so unnaturally in this movie. Is James Nguyen milking this now? Is he just like, I'm gonna include 10 solid minutes of him walking with no dialogue, because that was a joke that they made at one point.
So now he's trying to make a bad movie good based on what he did in the first one, you think?
Possibly.
I only got 3 saplings from that, jeez.
I mean, that takes. You think about it. If you could watch, if you could,
je ne sais quoi if you do that.
Well, I think that if you can take like that kind of criticism, like, okay, I just watched these guys rip my movie apart. Now I'm going to include the parts that they found, like double down on that stuff on purpose, because that's apparently what people find funny. That's
right.
That's a certain amount of like, getting out of your ego's way, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I just don't understand how people make. I don't understand. I know I've said that 6 times with no real.
They don't want to. I think it's just laziness. I think a lot of it is like, oh, microphones. That's hard. There's a microphone on this camera, right? Yeah, cool. Let's go.
The story just doesn't have my brain can't function with just how bafflingly weird and off of everything the story is. It just doesn't make any sense. There's no
What if I gave you 50% discount, Joe?
What?
Oh, you don't. The 50% discount thing he gives. That's a running joke.
It's going to bankrupt our entire company. How do you write a scene where someone you haven't met before, standing in front of a bunch of people you haven't met before, saying that they got a buyout for $1 billion? How do you write that as not a 6-year-old? It's just what I don't understand.
It might be because Mr. Nguyen is not of American descent, and he's sort of not clued into exactly, how things would flow in a movie.
How anything would. Okay, but has he seen a movie before?
I mean, only the works of Alfred Hitchcock.
He just
Everything else is
over again. Everything you knew about stock options, you learned from the birds.
I think, honestly, that stuff is based on his real life, because Julie and Jack is takes place in that same kind of office setting. I think he probably just worked at that office and got to film around there, and he just said, $1 billion.
Yeah, but it's why? It has no relevance to anything except oh, I guess this guy's not worth $1 billion.
Well, no, it's solar panels, Joe. Solar panels.
I couldn't figure that out either. Did he sell solar panels for $1 billion, or was he?
He has a,
no, because the company
patent.
wasn't solar panels, but then he introduces solar panels.
Because he cares about the environment, Joe. Why don't you care about the environment?
See, I got that. That part of the message I got, because it's mentioned 486,000 times.
Such as
7-minute-long speeches. But first a guy comes to his house to install solar panels.
He doesn't have them yet. He has an electric or a hybrid Mustang.
Something.
It's just it's like a late '90s model Mustang. He's like, it's a hybrid.
Solar hybrid Mustang.
That gives him the idea at work that does software. They clearly state they're a software company to just start selling solar panels, or. He's gonna take the money from the buyout and make a solar panel company?
Yeah, but he has a patent on the solar panel technology. Remember? Because they says, is there a patent? And he's like, yes. Like, that's a pivotal moment.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're
like, my
asking...
solar panels are awesome. Sort of how that boils down to.
Yeah, they're better, they're cheap, and they're really efficient. And he's like, wait, why is this...
Yeah, why does everyone else have this? He's like, I've patented.
Yeah.
This guy designed it alone. Apparently, possibly stealing from that guy who saw them in his house. Because that's the only interaction we've seen with him in solar panels.
I love that. I never made that connection, but I love the idea that that guy's just like, I'm gonna get my business off the ground. And this guy's like, $1 billion. I'll steal your technology.
I've got that lying around.
So bizarre. Every time I come across a movie like that, I just don't understand how you put a scene together like that and you don't think, okay, how would people act here? Like, that doesn't seem to cross their mind. They're just like moving like dolls around.
Well, then after he makes the sale, he checks into a hotel with his Victoria's Secret model girlfriend, the newly minted billionaire, and they're in like a Motel 6.
His feet are so dirty, which was just the weirdest detail.
That's how he's gonna keep those billions, man.
Yeah.
He'll just always be staying at the Motel 6.
It's just, what is the second one about? Do the birds come back?
I remember them being like, wow, that sure was some crazy thing we dealt with, as he walks through completely unharmed LA.
Yes.
But beyond that, no, I didn't finish watching it.
I'm just let down by you, Al. You're supposed to be the one that suffers through these for us.
I will eventually. It's just there's been a lot of good bad stuff to watch, and there's like if I can watch it with the riff tracks, I will. And I'm kind of disappointed they haven't put out Birdemic 2 riff tracks yet. They probably James DeWinn's like, I'm holding out for the big bucks from you guys now.
Yeah.
So
that's possibly. It seems like that would be the logical sequel, because they did Riff Tracks Live was Birdemic. No, Riff Tracks Live was Manos Hands of Fate, and then the second one was Birdemic. And
they also have Sharknado and Sharknado 2. Can I survive this fault? Let's find out. Yeah, I can.
I'm just taking these out of boxes now, forget it.
I'm having a hard time finding like a good area to actually mine that isn't pocked full of holes and weird tunnels. Probably because of me.
Yeah, who did that? I haven't even been paid. Yeah. Yes, Netherblock. That's what we're doing.
Welcome to our review of Birdemic.
Not even. Yeah, I guess. It's just.
What have you been up to, Tony?
Jokes from riff tracks.
They're better than the jokes we can come up with. Listen.
Yeah, what's been going on in Tony World?
I've kind of overcompensating for emotions with lots of drinking.
Interesting.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's not dig into that one anymore. So anyway, another riff tracks that I like is Manos, the Hands of Fate.
That's also, we won't dwell on this, but who puts that costume together and thinks, yeah, I've nailed the villain in my movie?
Dude, are you talking about Infinity War, or are you talking about like
Manos.
Manos.
No,
Manos.
Not Thanos. Although, good segue, Tony, because you can't hate on that costume too much, because it did lead to the Thanos, the Hands of Fate costume. Did you see that cosplay I retweeted the other day?
No, but that's pretty funny.
Where it's like the Thanos face, but he's got the big hand robe?
Yes.
Oh, I think I did see that, yeah.
That's a good mashup right there. Is the sun gonna come up soon?
Why? There's just no.
Okay.
What? Yeah, Netherblock.
I was gonna.
Why? What are you gaining from this?
Well, actually, I'm gaining netherrack, so.
Yes, 4 at a time. This is where you need to mine, Tony. You got it.
It saves me from going underground.
It's not like, go away. Where are you? Oh no! Okay.
By the way, I actually did find like the iron and stuff that he set aside for us.
Yes, eventually.
It's like right next to the stairs.
Yeah. Oh, you guys didn't find it?
I see. No, there's one closer to the
I just looted his house instead.
Which I think is also okay.
Oh no. I mean, I didn't take anything.
Why'd you make that noise?
No, actually, I haven't taken anything. I just wanted to, because I wanted to be funny, Joe. I want to say something funny that's my own at some point in this episode.
Despite the fact that we have you on film in the earlier part of this episode, walking through the house and not taking anything.
Kevin, I don't want to steal all of Kevin Murphy's
introduction.
Joke.
Like, we could just literally go third person and walk for 10 minutes without saying anything. See if that'll help.
Help what?
Get patrons.
So, yeah. The other weird thing is that there are plenty of bad movies out there, but there's just such a weird, like, sweet spot you have to hit of, like, absolute ineptness that's really kind of difficult. Like, there's a lot of times I'll be like, oh, this movie's supposed to be bad, it could be fun to watch, and it's not fun to watch. It's just really, like, this is just sort of a waste of time. Whereas I would have watched, having seen it now with riff tracks, I could have watched Birdemic and just been, like, on the edge of my seat the whole time because of the way it's bad. It's just so weird, it's so odd. I just wonder what part of our brains likes bad stuff like that.
I think it's the same, I mean, honestly, it's the same part of your brain that, like, enjoys jokes, specifically because, well, like, the whole humor center of your brain works in, like, a expectations way, and your brain has been set up to expect a certain thing from how a movie works, and then you watch something like that, and it's so wrong that it just triggers, like, wait a minute, like, you keep expecting one thing and it just doesn't work?
No, it doesn't. That's fair enough, I guess. So you have to have, like, so the people have to be able to set up that expectation. I think that's part of it. For some reason, you're always in the back of your mind, like, this might turn out well. This might actually get resolved. This might, and then just no. Whereas if you never had that expectation to begin with, where it's just awful.
If you'd never seen a movie, you would not be in. Well, I don't know that you would get anything out of it, but you would just be like, all right, I don't know, I don't really get the appeal, but
I can't even imagine if that's the first movie you ever see, like. Say you come up from, like, Blast of the Past style. You've been in a bunker for like 30 years, and that's the
30.
Yeah, 30, whatever. Brendan Fraser was like 30 when that happened, something like that. You remember
does it mean that? Never mind. Yes, got it. Check.
But I'm just saying, like, if you were to have that be the first movie you've ever seen as, like, a 30-year-old, after people are, like, hyping up movies and you see all these cool posters and trailers, and, like, you just walk in and you're like, Birdemic sounds like it could be fun.
You would have, the thing is, you have no context. You couldn't
yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Would you still feel like it was bad because it's like you probably had storytelling before and it's just atrocious?
Everyone understands, like, storytelling, right?
I think that you might get annoyed with that part of it, but then, like, there's specific stuff that movies do occasionally that, like, doesn't have to line up exactly with reality. Maybe if you watched, you know, a big Hollywood blockbuster, you'd be like, well, they didn't explain. Maybe you would be confused, like, what is this cutting? Like, we were over here before, and now maybe all that driving actually would, like, help you understand better.
I think that the human brain understands a certain level of... You think we have to be taught how to watch a film?
I don't know. I legitimately don't know. I mean,
we've all... How often do we really need to see James Bond in, like, a private jet or on first class just waiting to go somewhere? It's like, yes, it all of a sudden flashed that he was in the UK, and now he's in, like, Azerbaijan or something.
Do we see James Bond in a private jet very often?
I think. Usually only if that actually comes into play later, like he kills the villain on the jet or something.
I think in Casino Royale there was one scene where he was, like, disturbed by someone dying, and it shows him, like, in a private jet, and he's just, like, pissed off and sad looking for a little bit. It's him going home or something.
Definitely happens in Goldfinger, but that's because there's actually, like, a conversation, and he meets one of the main Bond girl on the flight is the stewardess. His private stewardess. But yeah,
wow.
It's not like...
That's a fancy... Your personal stewardess?
It's Goldfinger's yes.
Oh, so he had, like, his own private... Like, it wasn't like an airline that just offered, like... And if you fly with us...
Plane, yes.
If you can afford to have, like, a G6 and go in a private jet, you can probably afford the, like, $20 an hour it takes to have a private stewardess.
Have you seen
Goldfinger? But there's also, like, you know, health insurance and benefits and stuff.
Well, she's like, she's in his employ outside of the stewarding, too. I think he probably priced it out, was like, just to have the stewardess on call at all times would be kind of expensive, but if I have this lady also, I think she takes care of his horses or something. He's double dipping on her roles in the corporation so that he can save some money.
Yeah, like, on his Bond villain girl.
In her, like, in her contract, it's like 10% of the time, approximately, you will be my personal stewardess. 33% of the time, you will be my personal prostitute. And then you will take care of the horses 50% of the time.
Yes. Does that add up? And there's some free time?
I think there's like 17% missing or something like that.
The
You don't get to become Goldfinger by spending money lavishly. You gotta have those. You gotta pinch.
The 17% is like the time that she spends looking the other way.
Yeah, she's pretty implicit in all of it. You've never, I guess you've never seen it.
No, I haven't. Sorry, you were asking me. I haven't seen that one.
It's one of my favorite, like, espionage thriller movies.
Who played Bond in that one?
That's Connery. That's his second.
I never really got an interest in James Bond until, like, Daniel Craig stuff.
Yeah, well, that's because the Roger Moore era was not good, but beloved still for some reason.
When I was
Timothy Dalton was okay. Pierce Brosnan was pretty fun.
When I was a kid, Pierce Brosnan was the shit for Bond. Like, those were awesome movies, and now I'm afraid to go back.
I think
they're okay.
I think GoldenEye would hold up. I'm not sure about the other ones. Like, which is the one where he's like skiing down the mountain in terrible CGI through an avalanche?
I thought that was Roger Moore one, actually.
No, that's
I was gonna say there's one way back in the day where they actually had a guy like ski down and then para-jump out, and it was before there was CG, so it was just like an actual stuntman doing that stunt.
No, this is like it's bad CGI with like Pierce Brosnan pretending like he's losing his balance, and they just like copy-pasted him onto a hill.
Nope, I don't know which one that is.
I think that part of my problem was a lot of the Bond stuff got a little bit campy.
Yes,
and
the Roger Moore era was beyond camp. It was just so bad.
I didn't know how to like process that at the time. I heard about James Bond being like this great spy, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And then like when I watched it, it wasn't like the gritty, hard-hitting realism of the spy world. That
which ones did you see?
I don't know. I mean, I started
Austin Powers first. Thought that was
that's the other thing. It's been lampooned so much because it got so famous and so ingrained in like the subcult in the culture that it's very weird to see the. I grew up with the Connery ones, not when they were coming out, but just because my family loved them and we would watch them a fair amount.
I checked out Dr. No from the library. I know that's the first one, and I remember thinking like, I don't get it.
Dr. No wasn't great. It's not a good introductory Bond, I'll put it that way.
Apparently it was good enough to get him like forever.
The books were incredibly popular, and that was the first books. They were just going, in a sensical way.
Also, if you really want to see peak Connery, you got to see Zardoz.
No, you have to see Goldfinger. He doesn't have any gadgets. He doesn't have any. I don't even know if he has a sweet car in Dr. No. Like,
I mean, in Zardoz, he doesn't have any gadgets. He's just got like.
What is the plot of Zardoz?
Doesn't he have like a thong though?
It's not a thong. It's basically like a Speedo.
Oh, well,
and he also doesn't wear a shirt the whole movie. It's weird. But
it's like he wears a vest or something, right?
So the plot of he sometimes has like a bullet vest. All right. So the plot of Zardoz is basically you have a bunch of eradicators that are like in
What's Ireland. An eradicator?
An eradicator is basically someone who has access to guns when the entire population does not, so that they can sort of enslave them to create wheat for the Eternals. But people don't know that there's like the Eternals because they're living in their little like oasis far away from stuff. But Sean Connery, like as Zed, goes into a giant skull that comes out of the sky that's basically like just this giant talking head that demands their wheat harvest.
You've said basically like 5 times, and nothing about this description has been basic.
No, I'm with you. I got it. Totally with you. Giant head, wheat harvest, check.
Yeah, and so he kills the guy that's in the giant head because he basically realizes he realized that this person is God, so he kills him immediately.
Okay, sure, that's what you do.
And yeah, like the movie just kind of spirals out of control from there.
Is that like the first 5 minutes?
I think that's the first 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a review of this movie. I know whereof I speak a little bit. It's that's the starting point. And this is the ending point for us because we're at 40 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what we think about Zardoz Birdemic.
I wonder if Riff Tracks has a Zardoz edition.
It's an oddly beloved movie because it was actually way better than I expected it to be.
That's why it's oddly beloved, because it's better than you expected?
Tony likes it. I love this movie.
It's sort of like a Jodorowsky type movie, so I think it's got sort of a cult following to it. But so does Birdemic, and that's not quality at all.
No, it's not.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave a like, leave a comment, and if you really love us, you should go to the Patreon page over at patreon.com/humanechoes and become a member of our patron family. Help make this stuff possible and earn our eternal love.
Also get stuff early and pins and things like that. The new pin is going out, I believe, this week.
We'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, Albert here. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this, if you like the other things that we make, you should consider liking, subscribing to the channel, checking out our other videos, and most importantly, going over to patreon.com and becoming a patron. It helps us make the awesome things that you love, and it helps you get access to those things early. There should be a link on your screen or in the video description below. Keep being awesome, and we'll see you next time.